Hello everyone, Neofizz here, and welcome back to my Neofizz playing Minecraft on the Cobblecobble server series. And this is episode number 6. And here you can see in this episode, I'm standing in my village. I haven't been in the village for a while now, so I thought, well, I'll come over and show you the few little things that have changed. It's not a lot, to be honest. Basically, what I've done here is I've taken down the fence and put up a wall. And the reason I put up the wall is mostly to keep invaders out. And over here, I even expanded it a bit, and that's why there's no lighting pots in the ground. So I better put a little bit of light over here so we don't get the mobs spawning, because I never did do that part. So we got a little bit of light there now. And you can see this is a pretty tall wall, at least out in this end, but this is the lowest part of the village now. As I get over towards the higher area, which is basically over where the cow farm is. Yeah, and that was the way to get down to my skeleton spawner. That's the dual skeleton spawner. I haven't used that for a little while because I haven't had a lot of need for bone meal or arrows or anything. You can see the wall is not very tall here though. And this I don't think I've ever shown. This was the original way down to the skeleton spawner, so I'll quickly show you this. This was how I originally found the skeleton spawner. This was all open. I glassed it over just to keep the mobs out because they would just drop in on me at nighttime or daytime, the remains from daytime. Spiders coming down, creepers coming down. So I did that to stop them. I'm going to put a little light there. And so, let's see. Yeah, it was this way. So I explored this a bit. I didn't get too crazy with it. I was planning on doing more exploring with it, but sorry to say they're going to be resetting the server soon, so there's no point in trying to hide anything anymore. And this is actually a spot that's fairly close to the spawn. It's compared to my other area, my actual home. It's more like 1,000 or less blocks from spawn, whereas my my new home is like 25,000 blocks from spawn. So it's next to impossible for people to find my new home that I'm sharing with Pixelhead. Yeah, so this was the actual original way to the skeleton spawner. And we can see here, this is the Neofizz private spawner, and people have to keep out. Alright, so here is the way that was originally designed to get in here. And we saw this before. This was all the other times I built mob grinders around these spawners, I always put the lighting up in the ceiling. But I realized because when I first capture one, I just need one torch on these 4 spots on the walls, and that stops the spawner. And I realized, well, that's all I actually need. I don't need the 9 lights up in the wall, up in the ceiling, even though it looks better that way. I kind of like having it as overhead lighting, but when I set this up, I was really low on resources. So I didn't have a lot of redstone. I didn't have a lot of glowstone for making the lamps, so I decided I'm going to minimize the amount of resources I use here. And I thought I had turned the water off but last time I was here, but I guess I forgot to. And it just makes so much noise. That's why I have this on off, so that I don't have to listen to the water rushing when I'm not actually using it. There, isn't that so much more peaceful? Yeah. And I never really did show this all that clearly, but you can see I've covered up a lot of it, but basically if I get it behind, this water on off, actually you have to go in behind the wall here. And you can see here now that the switch goes to this redstone, which runs all the way up to here, and then finally comes up this little stairway and goes up here to right above that torch is where the this block right above it here is where the piston is. Alright, so while the torch is running, piston is extended, and that keeps the water back. And because I wanted this to run off of one lever, I continued the redstone all the way around here. It goes here to the second one, which is right above there, and then it continues on here until it gets through here. I had see, this is where I had put my stairway through, so I had to block this off. And this runs along until I finally get over here to the second spawner, and right above this torch, above that block, is where we have the one piston. And same thing, finally way over here we have the ending, so that above this block is the piston for the other water that's being held back by the piston, right? So that's how that was set up. And the lighting, I don't think I actually showed the redstone trail for that. So let's go back this way. Block this back up for now. Should have brought some smooth stone so I could block it up in a more pretty way. But you can see here, here's the switch that turns the lights on and off. And it goes up to the redstone torch that goes up to the block that has that other torch. And if you follow it up, we've got another torch, and you go up more, and there's another torch, until finally we come up to this trail of redstone that's being run by that torch. So we've got this tower of torches that come up to it, and when you go around, we hit this point here, and here's the neat part. The redstone powers this block, and on that side of the block is where the light is. So when the redstone hits the block, it powers the block, which powers the redstone lamp. Then this repeater pulls that power out of the block. Without this repeater, the power wouldn't continue. So it isn't because the redstone's too long that the repeater's here. The repeater's there in order to draw the power out of the block, is what it is. So that continues on. We got the same thing here. Another repeater dragging it along. And same deal down here. It's the next light with the repeater dragging it along. And then I didn't show out this way. That redstone goes this way and it hits the block, and there's no repeater here because it didn't need to continue, right? And then I had to make a turn here so that I could hit the block sitting there, and then the repeater dragging it out again, and the same thing over and over. Hits the block, lights the light, drags it through with the repeater, and continues on once again. So that's how I was able to have one single switch operating all the lights for these spawners. Look at these guys. They are just something else, eh? Yeah, so that's how that really works. Then when I come down, I have that gate, and you can see it's just the one piston there. So this, I believe, right above here is where the piston is, right? And it's extended, and it's a sticky piston, so it's got the glass on the end of it, and when I unextend it, it pulls it back so the glass is flush with the wall, which will let them drop back in now. So that's not too bad. And then here we had the button for crushing, and this went to the typical redstone timer using the RS NOR latch here. And I put stairs here so it's easy to get over it. But the RS NOR latch, so you don't see it as well with the stair there, because you have a torch on the bottom block, on the opposite side the torch on the top block, a redstone coming off of the bottom block, and redstone coming off of the top block. And you have two blocks here, and the reason why is because this torch is powering that block. So we needed the redstone to run across two blocks. I extended to a third block because I want to draw power off of it to the crusher piston, right? But the way this was set, I needed to reverse the current there, and that's why there's a torch there. Because torches are used for reversing current. So basically what was happening is when you push the button, the redstone current would run along, hit the bottom of that RS NOR latch, and turn the bottom of that on. And that bottom will stay on which allows the current to start running down this path, and it runs through the path of this series of repeaters that are all set to a maximum delay until finally it comes back along and pops up and hits the top block. As soon as the current hits the top block, it now turns the current off on the bottom block. So the bottom block is going to keep the current on and trail it along and keep the piston. See, and that's why this is reversed. It's when the bottom's on, the top is off, and that means this torch will come on, and it'll keep the piston crushing until it runs completely around that timer and hits the top block to turn it off again. So that's it took me a while to wrap my head around how this latch actually works, because when I first saw Etho using it, I just went and used it and didn't understand it. But it took me a while to figure that out. That even now I don't completely understand why that works. I just know that when the current hits the bottom, it turns on the bottom, and then when the current hits the top, it turns on the top. So it's going to hold that state until the current hits it in a different direction. So that's basically the whole issue with that. So we can head back up now. There's one more thing I want to show you way up at the top of my village here. It's a long stairway, but at least it's a nice straight one that's easy to navigate compared to the original way that I had down. And over here I've got one more thing that I had going that I was keeping secret, because in case somebody invaded my village, I didn't want them to really know what was here. Because I had, where did it go now? I believe it's right down here. Because I had this trapdoor set here. And when I used this trapdoor set, this took me down to a ravine that I had found. And I still have not explored this ravine. And you can see there's a mine shaft down there ready for me to explore. And I would have explored this sooner, or pretty soon, but the server's going to reset, so there's no point in hiding it anymore. And I'm not going to end up exploring it after all. I figured pretty soon I would need to go down and get resources, but I'm not going to need resources with the server resetting. We're going to have to start all over again and start finding a new home and gathering resources all over again. And I think I had this stairway I had started in order to get down there. And I actually blocked this off so that mobs couldn't get up in there. Let's bring this back in case I need to use it again. And I lit this up a little bit. Dead end here. Grabbed all the resources there. Down this way. It continued on a bit. And I don't know if this reached an end or not. I can't remember. It's been, no, you can see that continues, and I never did continue exploring it. Oh, yeah, and here it's going to take me right up into the mine shaft, so I would have been able to get in there easily. It sounds like we got cave spiders there, so I'm going to turn around now and go the other way. Now this way I don't think I explored very far either. Yeah, see, this continues on as well, and I didn't explore it, and it goes down into the mine shaft as well. So at this point I stopped. There would have been lots of resources and goods to gather down there, but like I said, I never did get to it. Other things happened, and so we reached our end. Now let's see if I can find out how to get back out of here again. Right about here, I think. Yeah, this is it. So that block keeps them out, and here's the way back up. So you can see this little village of mine had some surprises in store that nobody knew anything about, even from my original videos. This way. Yeah, it was kind of fun originally making my way down through here. Excuse me. Got something caught in my throat there. Yeah, so that's about it. We extended, made the wall, tried to make it more secure. Now there's one more thing to show you back at home. If I go back at home, you can see from my previous episode where I was talking about making the village with the villagers up top. I did the minecart track here. Up we go. And up we go, up some more. It's a long way up. I'm gonna need to eat soon. Gonna get weapon ready just in case. I think I've got it secure up here, but I'm cautious and I come up with a weapon in hand anyway. And you can see here I finished building the houses. So you can see my house designs. I put glass tops so lots of light can get in the daytime, keep it roomy and homey looking. And you can see I transported some villagers up. This was the end of the minecart track, and I dropped them off here and break the minecart and let them loose, and they would immediately beeline it for the doors. And I brought a solitary 2 villagers up here. And you can see already we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3 little guys there. Aren't they so cute? 7, 8. This is one of my originals. 7, 8 here. So I don't think they're down here. I've seen them wandering around down over here, but you know, from day to day they keep deciding on a different house that they like. And I run around like crazy, lighting the area up in an attempt to keep the mobs from spawning, and particularly zombies. Because until... Oh, where are you going? Come on back up. You don't want to go down there. You want to come back up and go into a house, you silly lady. That's it. Go in the house. Go in the house. Geez, these villagers can be so dumb or what, eh? Yeah, so you can see that I terraformed just a little bit. Like I had, chopped in here to even this up so they have a nice 3-wide walkway all the way around the house. Well, that villager is so dumb. It's nighttime. You should be in a house, you silly lady. Jeez. But yeah, so this is my little mini village, and it looks good. They're populating, they're multiplying. Like as soon as I brought 2 up here, they instantly multiplied. They were just ready and raring to go, eh? So if I gave it time, if I hung around here for a while, before I know it, there would be a ton of villagers running around here, because with 80 doors, I believe, for every 2.5 doors, you can support a villager. So with this many doors, before I know it, there would be enough villagers here for an iron golem to automatically spawn and start protecting them. But that's all going to take time. One last thing is Captain Chicken Nuggets, or Cap Chicken Nuggets, gave me a present, which was a squid. And he named him Squishy. And I was told that these things would not despawn, but it looks like he did. I put him inside of here, I gave him a home and put him in here, and I believed that because he was a passive mob, he wasn't going to despawn. But look, no Squishy. Darn. So I made this all for nothing. I made this nice little habitat for Squishy, and I put him in there, and now he's gone. So you learn something new every day. That the squids, whether they spawn naturally or from an egg, they will not be permanent. They will despawn when you give them time. Plain and simple. So I was going to show you Squishy in there, but now I can't because he had despawned on us. Oh well, them's the breaks. But thanks anyway, Cap. I was hoping that he would be permanent, but I guess not. He's only permanent if you keep an egg. So much for that, eh? I don't know how much he paid for that egg, but I know it wasn't cheap. And it's coming daytime. These guys should all come piling out of the building anytime now. And running around outside. So let's get up top so we can watch them a little bit here before we end the episode. Now that it's day. You can see I lit this up like crazy all around here. I went around at nighttime and found every dark spot I could within a certain distance here and just lit it all up. So within, a good number of blocks. Oh, did you see the hearts down there? Yeah, they were trying to do it again. So I'm sure that if I stayed nearby within a certain number of blocks, these guys would just keep multiplying and multiplying and multiplying. But yeah, they really love walking through the doors, in and out, running all around, having a good time. Now that it's daytime, the little youngsters will start running around like crazy too. All right, and before we know it, we'll have a massive number of villagers in here. Yeah, it's looking good. And they're going crazy. Yeah, see, she's down there, and there they are, checking out that building. So they will use all 4 of these. They're all within a good, tight distance, so they'll consider all 4 of these buildings to be part of their village. And with all those doors, they're going to be happy. They love to run through the doors, so they'll be doing that lots. And once we get a large enough population, the sound of doors opening and closing will be non-stop because there'll be so many villagers. For sure. So there you go. There's a little tour of the changes that have occurred. I might still do a little bit of stuff before the server resets, but at the moment I'm really not sure what the next episode's going to be about, but I'm sure there's going to be something I'll do before they reset, because I think it's going to be close to a week still before we get the reset. So I hope you enjoyed checking this little update out with me, and thanks for coming by, and everybody take care now, and until next time, this is Neofizz signing out.